Hello, and welcome back to another podcast editing walkthrough. My name is SP, and I'm from Better Podcasting, which is a podcast to help the hobby podcaster, and it is on the GonnaGeek.com podcast network. I also host on that same network and produce a weekly podcast on the general Marvel universe, and it's called Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is predominantly on the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but during the off season, we look at other shows like we are today. Now, I've been asked by multiple people how I edit, so I created these videos to show how I edit for better podcasting listeners and others that have approached me that want to learn how to do that. Now, I stream these live on my Twitch stream, which you can find at twitch.tv/Stargate Pioneer. Then I upload these videos afterwards to my YouTube channel, which is called Stargate Pioneer Edit Walkthroughs. How I edit is I'm using Vegas Movie Studio 15.0 Platinum to do a video edit, and then I move on to Audacity to do some audio-specific editing. The process is I do the video edit first, and I create a FLAC file, which is a lossless audio file, and I import that audio file into Audacity, and we create both the video and audio edits through there, productions through there. Now, this is a basic edit walkthrough. These are not lessons, just like any video game walkthrough that you've seen. But I will be giving explanations along the way for how and why I am editing and some of my editing philosophy as well. So in this video, I will be editing Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 261. And spoiler alert, if you have not seen The Punisher, we will be discussing The Punisher season 1. I believe this is episode 4. It might be 5. I'll have to check on that. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go back, watch The Punisher, and come back and watch this editing walkthrough. And if you don't care about spoilers, or if you've already seen it, perhaps this conversation might be of interest to you. So the status so far is what I've done is I've taken the template that I've created for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've added all the tracks into it. And over the previous 6 videos, I've edited up to the 25-minute mark of about an hour-long podcast. And I've been looking at here's what you're looking at. Here's what we've got on the screen. We've got a video track and the accompanying audio track. These were captured via OBS Studio when we were recording. And then I've got a Hangout audio track, an SP audio track, that's me. And down below we have a soundboard audio track. These 3 tracks were captured in separate recording tracks of a Zoom H5, which I am able to multi-track through my Mackie Pro FX 16V2, the Hangouts being the incoming audio from Lauren and Michelle, so it's combined. And if you want to learn how I do that, you can go to the link that I'm putting down below in the show notes or the description for YouTube, and that's basically geeks.link/SP diagram 2018, all in numbers. So once again, that's geeks.link/SP diagram, S being Stargate. So SP diagram 2018, and that will show you the audio wiring diagram of how I'm able to multi-track if you're interested in. Of note, I only have one video track, and this is partly because I'm a little lazy when we actually record this, and I don't do a lot of switching, but partly because I use the YouTube Live's automatic switching. YouTube Live is automatic switching, and I don't do any switching myself. Part of the reason is because I have limited upload bandwidth. Now, it's great for one 1080 stream, maybe 2, but if I'm going back and forth to 2 or more co-hosts, I don't have enough bandwidth to do that. So I have not been producing the way that Steven produces over on the GonnaGeek.com and Better Podcasting shows. And that leaves one video track, which makes it very difficult to do some sort of edits. So I don't have any switching going back and forth. And if I do an edit, maybe I can get away with a video swish, an overlay of the podcast logo. I don't have that ready yet, but once I do, I might start using that. That's one way to do it. In the meantime, I just concentrate on making sure that people's voice and lips mostly match up, and that limits what I can do with the editing. So on the track, I do have audio effects or FX, and you can see some of the ones that I'm using here. I'm up to RX7 voice denoise here, and I have Gmax, which is a compressor of sorts. It's actually called a maximizing limiter, and it helps increase the volume while limiting the peaks. And I have a noise gate, which I've selected at about -30 for all tracks. And then I use a little deburb to take away from the echo from my room. I've actually been listening to my recordings and I have a little echo, and I think the echo is mainly my voice bouncing off the monitors in front of me and hitting some of the walls. When I have my actual backdrop up, it limits that, but there's still a little as well. So the backdrop actually helps with audio as well as a visual cue there. And then declick, which is great to take out some mouth noises and audio recording artifacts that just happen because of the way the system is. However, the way it works, it is process intensive. And as I'm previewing the track, it, or the, not just the track, but the entire thing, it tends to slow it down to the point where it becomes ineffective. So I don't actually run that until I'm ready to render, and then I turn it on for all tracks. Another thing that I do along the way is I replace the soundboard sounds. This is for two reasons. First of all, when you record and then play back a audio file, it degrades over time. So since I have the original file, I just move it down. And then the other thing is it shows my progress along the way because I delete it as I go along. So that is how I see my progress when I have to come back to a video like I am right now. My editing philosophy is mostly I'm deconflicting audio, minimizing crosstalk. I'm trying to optimize the experience for the listeners. I take out audio ticks, remove coughs, that sort of thing, coughs, that sort of thing. I also take out crutch words as much as I can without looking stupid on the video and the audio. It doesn't really matter. I just take it out if it sounds good. So I'm prioritizing content, then audio quality, and then my listeners' time. There's a lot of cases in an hour-long recording that I can take out 5 to 12 minutes. And that's a lot of time to give back to hundreds of listeners that end up listening to my show over time. So you say just 100 listeners for a podcast, and I'm saving 5 minutes. So that's 500 hours of 500 minutes of human productivity that I've given back to everybody, which is what, 8 hours or so of human productivity that I've throw them back in the mix, or other entertainment that they can consume. So if you have any questions along the way, please ask them. If you're happening to be watching this live on Twitch, go ahead and throw your questions in the Twitch live stream. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, put your question in the comment down below. Please put the time code, though, so that I know exactly what you're talking about in the video. And I will answer that as soon as I can. Most of the times I actually create another video to answer your specific question. So with that, I'm going to start editing in a second after I respond to our Davis, who happens to be in the chat. And I'm just going to say Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Thank you very much for checking this out and watching. It is Christmas Day, thus the hat. And I happen to have a few minutes. I have older kids, so they're not rushing down at dark 30 to open presents or anything. So I happen to have a few minutes here, and I thought I would get back to editing this and perhaps get it out to the world this week. It's been long enough. All right. So I'm going to zoom in using my scroll wheel bar and back up just a little bit so I get a sense of what's going on with Lauren here as she's talking. And here we go.
Like the teaser clips they showed promoting the show. And he got murdered all to hell. He was the guy that got like stabbed and used as like a
the pogo stick.
Yeah, it was brutal, and they got him because he does.
All right, getting into the mood again. I want to take out some of that stuff, but I'm going to listen to it one more time. Oh, nope. I'm not going back that far. That is something that bugs me a lot with movie studio. Oh, we have a not responding. This is the third time that Movie Studio 15.0 Platinum has crashed during this edit. I know that for sure because I just recently rewatched all of the previous edits. And I know eventually it will come back. So I might just sit here watching for a second or two, see if it does come back. But if not, I'm going to have to start this stream over. And that kind of sucks because I didn't get any work done. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm going to cut this stream short and reset this thing. Fortunately, I have not done any work. You know what? I'm just going to close this up. Close the program because I haven't done any work, so I haven't lost anything. All right. So now we're going to move that back up. And if I had done work and it had auto-saved, I would lose a little bit to the last auto-save. No, I don't want to restore the project. But I do want to bring that project back up. Oh, this is par for the course with this. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it crashed for a third time. I really can't. Okay, here we go.
And I'd seen like a behind the scenes thing that he posted on his Twitter. Oh, thanks for letting me be on this. And it was one of the like the teaser clips they showed promoting the show. And he got murdered.
Okay. I don't know if you heard it, but there was excessive breath noises coming in and out, and a lot of that is due to the denoiser that I've got working on it. So I'm just going to take those out.
Promoting the show. And he got murdered all to hell. He was the guy that got like stabbed and used as like a
the pogo stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here's an example of crosstalk going out. What I'm doing basically, you can delete things or minimize audio two ways. First way is you can put a split in and then another split in and then move that gain down to basically negative infinity, and that silences the track. The other thing you could do is split the track, select the track, select the track, do not select the FX, and then delete it, and it goes away. I'm going to undo that with Control Z, a couple of Control Z's there. And the other thing that you can do is you can use this trim start or trim end. In this case, I want to trim the start. So what that does is it takes out the audio that's to the left of the cursor line, and it leaves everything to the right, but it stops if there's a split further to the left. So I get an easy cut right there.
As like
the pogo stick.
Yeah, it was brutal, and they got him because he does.
Just to let you know, what I will be doing in the audio edit is I will be taking out all that silence and probably combining the S sound of "it is," and that should work as a fine audio compression. And what are we talking about? Looking down here, about one second or so. So this is a great example. That's 1 second of my listeners' time that they get back.
As like
the pogo stick. No, probably like I was going out too.
The guy that got like stabbed and used as like
the pogo stick.
Yeah, it was brutal, and they got him because he does a good death yell. You'd work in video games for a while, you do good death yells. And speaking of Critical Role, by the way, on this past week's show, they did a belated Halloween episode, and Marisha Ray dressed up as Lisa Frank Castle. Yeah, bright pink and neon colored, and yeah, pretty good. So yeah, this was a really good action scene. Lots of, blood left and right. Not
right. I heard some audio effects from a breath. Now, normally when somebody's breathing, you just hear this, but because it's running a compressor, it's running noise gates and denoisers, sometimes the turns into like you're stuttering. and it just sounds bad audio wise. So that's when I end up taking them out, is when they sound bad. And they don't normally sound that bad unless they're really pronounced to begin with. So I'll back up so that you can hear it again. It is right here that we're talking about, but I'm going to back up a couple of seconds so we can get into it, and then you'll hear it.
The Frank Castle.
Yep.
Yeah. Bright pink and neon colored and yeah. And
Here's another. This is not what I was talking about, but it does need to come out. You had to back up for more than one reason.
yeah. Bright pink and neon colored and yeah. Pretty good. So yeah, this
I don't know if you heard that or not, but there was a so it's just sounds unnatural, and I take them out because they sound unnatural.
yeah. Pretty good. So yeah, this was a really good action scene. Lots of, I mean, blood left and right. Not
Okay, whoa. Here's something that I need to take out, but if her lips are moving too much, that's going to look stupid.
lots of blood left and right.
Okay, so her lips weren't moving that much. They did move, so I'm just going to take that out. And part of the reason why I made that decision is I know in the future, even though I'm prioritizing video, that my main product out of this is audio. And I don't want to have to take that I mean out twice or again, have to worry about it. So if I just take it out now, then I never have to worry about it again.
It's a really good action scene. Lots of blood left and right. Not quite as, really not strategic at all as you would expect from like, martial arts master like Daredevil or even Iron Fist. So far, we have not had an elevator fight scene, have we?
Not yet.
Or a hallway fight.
Although
well, Punisher's not really known for that, though. He's known for.
All right, I got lost trying to see where the next segment ends, and it's about 41 minutes.
Iron Fist.
We'll see if we can get to that 41-minute mark. But there's been some overtalk that I have to either decide to leave in or take out.
Iron Fist. So far, we have not had an elevator.
I'm going to take out her. I'm going to take out my attempt to inject. One of the things with working with a co-host, and Lauren specifically, is that sometimes she'll pause for a while, and then we think that she's done or stuck, and then we try to come in and help her, or any other co-host. It's not just Lauren. And then she, in this case, Lauren continues with her talk, with her speech, with her dialogue. So we've learned just to shut up right away and let her continue, which is completing the thought anyway, which is great. But that means I have to go back in and edit. And another way to worry about this later is just to let her go. And if I was doing a video switch, wait for her to come back, switch to another scene. Like one camera is on just her, another camera would be on myself, Michelle, and Lauren in a tri-screen. And that would make this video edit a lot easier. You just cut it and smash them together, and it looks just like I was switching normally during the show versus switching because in a jump cut. I hate jump cuts. Jump cuts are when you've seen them a lot if you've watched a lot of YouTube videos. Jump cuts are when you're cutting the video as it's going just for the audio. You're prioritizing audio, but you're jumping around and your head is in places that it shouldn't be. Or if you've got background, like sailboat channels do this all the time, you got a boat that's moving. So you got seas that are moving, you got a boat that's moving, you got sails that are moving, and you've got your person that is moving around as well. And those jump cuts are just really pronounced. You can really tell when they're done. I'm like, oh, guys, if you're going to do this, do two cameras, set up two cameras, and then switch back and forth. I know that's more intensive work in the production side, but it's a lot better for the viewer. So it's just my 2 cents about it. And also, if you're doing two good 4K cameras, it does raise the price and all the memory that you have to worry about to memory cards. You have to store them later. It adds up. To add another camera, it costs more. It's not just the camera, it's everything else that comes with it. So I get why people do it. It just bugs me.
Like Daredevil
You know
Master
what? I
like
almost froze it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this project, even though I've only gotten a minute down.
Master like Daredevil or even Iron Fist. So far, we have not had an elevator fight scene, have we?
Not yet.
Or a hallway fight.
Although
Well,
we have.
Punisher's not really known for that, though. He's known for.
I'm definitely going to take that out. We'll see if I leave that in. Not yet.
Or a hallway fight.
Although
Well, Punisher's not really known for that.
Oh, I'm definitely going to take all that out. Not yet.
Or a hallway fight.
Well, Punisher's not really known for that.
All right. She stumbled with the P.
Well, Punisher. I was on the wrong track. Let's try that. See if that'll work. Well, Punisher's not really known for that, though. He's known for, here's my gun. I'm going to shoot it.
Oh, I heard something in the background. If it's not coming from Michelle, you look to the left and these output meters, you will see them spike and will tell you where that sound's coming from. Could be from me. I don't know. I didn't see it.
He's not really known for that, though. He's known for, here's my gun. I'm going to shoot it. Or maybe some knife, but I don't really.
That was coming from Lauren. So it's taken out.
Here's my gun. I'm going to shoot it. Or maybe some knife, but I don't really expect a hallway scene like that from Punisher.
Yeah, it's kind of become like the Netflix series signature, sort of.
We've gotten a lot of scenes in the elevator, though, with Madani. So
True.
That could be coming. We don't know yet. And
also, just an aside from the.
Yet. And
also, just an aside.
I don't know if that end needs to be there. I mean, we don't know yet. And
also,
it doesn't, because I don't go anywhere with it. Now it's going to look stupid because I'm going to look like I'm talking, but no words are coming out of my mouth. But in the audio edit later, it's going to be there. And the reason why I'm taking it out is I think the end was overlapping with where Lauren starts. So this is one of those hard decisions you got to make. You want to look stupid on the video, or do you want the audio to sound better later? So I chose, in this case, you focus on the audio, make the audio sound better. I would have probably have gone back in the audio edit and tried to distinguish between the two and do exactly what I just did, and do some undos there. But that little tail there, that I'm going to zoom in here, that overlaps, would have driven me crazy. So if I would just redo that edit, take that out, I don't have to spend minutes on this later, which is why I decided to take it out. Don't know yet.
Also, just an aside from the conversation that Gunnar and Frank were having, important might come up later. Apparently, the whole thing that made Gunnar decide to do this recording was when he went to visit this kid had lent him a knife. Kid died.
Here's an example of a repeated word.
This kid had lent.
And Lauren is stuck in her video. Now, Lauren, she does not have as good of a video stream even as I do. So she is, first of all, using a 720 camera, not a 1080 camera. And second of all, her video sometimes freezes. Now, sometimes it's because Movie Studio here is not keeping up with the preview. Sometimes it's because she's froze. So I'm going to have to go over this again and see if she is truly frozen. And if she's truly frozen, I'm going to take out that first this.
He went to visit this kid.
Yep. It was just happenstance that it happened to be right there. Worked out for me.
Went to visit this kid had lent him a knife. Kid died. He was going to return the knife to the kid's body. And he saw them packing the kid's body and a bunch of other corpses full of drugs before sending them back. Yes. And he's like, oh, this is bad. I need to.
Normally I would leave that nice in there, but it overtalks Lauren and it really doesn't add anything here.
Or sending them back. And he's like, oh, this is bad. We are doing a very bad thing here.
Right, getting back to the Colonel and everything that happened before with Frank and stuff. I need to go back to the fight here because I was just enthralled with the fight. It was great in the woods. I did expect a little bit more from Gunnar and Frank being out in the woods and out in the open. It seemed like it would be their sort of thing that they had been trained for, and they had worked together before, so I kind of expected maybe a little bit more, although they were disadvantaged because they didn't have weapons and weren't prepared and stuff like that. Also, perhaps my favorite fight of all time, because Micro uses a drone to help them. So I saw this thing take off and I was on the elliptical. I was already pumped up for the fight in the woods, and the drone takes off. It was a DJI Inspire. I don't know if it's Inspire 1 or 2, but it was an Inspire. I'm like, oh, heck yeah. And I was just awesome. Also, that drone seemed to have a very long flight time. So
I figured you'd be amped about that. Also, before this scene, a really good interaction between, I love the kind of animosity between Frank and Micro when they're in the car and Micro's mixing up the MRE, I guess it was for Frank.
It looked like an MRE, but it was just like one of those tuna meals you can stumble when I started.
Frank?
It looked like... So we are going to take that out.
MRE, I guess it was for Frank.
It looked like an MRE, but it was just like one of those tuna meals you can get in the supermarket.
Yeah, and then he pulls out a sandwich and Frank's like,
"No, don't need the market."
Yeah, and then he pulls out a sandwich and Frank's like, "Where'd you get that?" He's like, "I made it. I have stuff in the fridge. I just assumed you like those."
You could tell.
And he didn't even...
See, it sounds like a tick, but it's me actually laughing.
Assumed you like those.
So I'm going to take out the tick.
Assumed you like those.
You could... Sound better?
Stuff in the fridge. I just assumed you like those.
You could...
And he didn't even offer, like, he had...
I'm going to do a video edit here because there's no reason that I started and I stopped because I was going to say something, but then Michelle started talking, and fortunately the camera switched to her. So I'm going to perform an actual video edit here. So she's talking, and then 1 second later is basically right there. Here, I'm going to leave a 1 second gap in between the two. Now this is going to split. If I do it on a track that is not selected, it splits everything that is on the entire project. So I don't have to worry about splitting the video track up on top. And then the same things here. She's going to talk. She's starting to talk, and the camera's on her. So down here, camera's on her. So I'm going to keep everything there. Now, the trick that I love is right click and select all after cursor, all tracks. So I don't have to worry about grabbing everything and then just sliding it on over. And this should be a completed edit right now.
Hate it. I have stuff in the fridge. I just assumed you like those.
And he didn't even offer, like, it was like 2 parts. And his Micro's like, and he...
All right. I'm going to take some of what she's excited. She's kind of chuckling to herself. This is Lauren, but I'm going to concentrate on Michelle, and I'm going to remove her chuckles that sound like bumps in the background.
And he didn't even...
Oh, let's go back to just selecting one track.
And he didn't even offer, like, it was like 2 parts, and his Micro...
That too. Do you like those?
And he didn't even offer, like, it was like 2 parts, and his
Yeah.
microwave's like, and he didn't even offer Frank, oh, you would have liked a sandwich? Oh, here's the other half. No.
It's a huge sandwich. And then I love it. He's in the woods reading Life of Pi, eating his sandwich while Frank's going off getting shot in the shoulder with an arrow.
Frank did tell him to
love
stay
it.
where he was. So, I mean,
Oh, yeah. No.
can't really
Again, he's
blame
busy
him.
being the guy in the chair.
I'm going to give Lauren the nod there, even though it's going to look like I'm talking. It deconflicts the audio, which is priority number 2. Stayed where he was. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah. No. Again, he's busy being the guy in the chair, guy in the van.
He wasn't even in the van, though. He was sitting by the tree.
Sitting under, the shade of a tree.
Right. She says sitting a couple of times. So I'm going to take the first one out, but I'm going to leave her agreement in here. Sitting by the tree.
Sitting.
There. No, he was sitting by the tree.
Sitting under, the shade of a tree with his sandwich, reading Life of Pi, having a great old time until he wasn't.
He did redeem himself at the end because he actually goes to get Frank and he brings Frank back to the van. Apparently they have medical supplies, just in case sort of thing. And he's able to give Frank an IV. And at this point, we have not watched beyond this episode, or at least I have not. And I think both of you two have not either. I see Claire in the future. I might be wrong, but I'm kind of looking at Claire here. I was wrong.
This would be the logical place to have Claire because, hey, Frank is dying. I don't know if we will have Claire, but this would be the logical place for her. And also, I got to say, if you're traveling with Frank Castle, it doesn't matter if you're going to the corner store. I feel like you have to have at least a first aid kit because this guy just invites trouble.
It's more than a first aid kit when you're sticking an IV in somebody.
Like I said,
I can take out that well. It'll sound better to the listener. Aid kit when you're sticking an IV in somebody. Oh, aid kit when you're sticking. And because of that, I'll take out the tick. The tick, by the way, is probably just her ramping up to speak. It's probably her breathing. And again, it's the denoise, which is compressing it down to the point where it just sounds like a tick. But in reality, she's taking a breath.
Invites trouble.
It's more than a first aid kit when you're sticking an IV in somebody.
Like I said, if you're traveling to the corner store, you carry a first aid kit. If you are going to upstate New York or wherever they're going, yeah, you carry a bit more than that because there's no way this guy isn't ending up minus half his blood volume at the end of the day.
Yeah, kind of surprised that he is still alive at the end of the day. And Gunnar, I guess Gunnar had more serious injuries, but Gunnar didn't make it. And Frank needs to go back and bury him because he agreed to bury Gunnar. So I think we're going back there at some point. The other thing we need to talk about in this episode is back in the station. We'll just call it the station with Dinah and Sam. They're being investigated because of the gun theft that happened last episode. And the Office of Inspector General is asking some uncomfortable questions. And the two of them have to get episode. And the Office of Inspector General is at. Right. Well, I heard something from Lauren's track again. This is probably not her breathing. This is either her doing something with her desk, her keyboard, maybe her cat in the background that is tumbling over something. But definitely that Shure SM7B does not have an incredible amount of noise rejection that a microphone like a Electro Voice RE320 does. RE320 is not perfect either, but in my experience, it's been a little bit better in the microphone tests that I've seen with side and rear noise rejection. Doesn't mean that would have helped in this case, but it might. And then that removes me from stopping and having to do an edit point. Best time to get quality audio is when you're recording, not later in post. Being investigated because of the gun theft that happened last episode. And the Office of Inspector General is asking some uncomfortable questions, and the two of them have to get their story straight.
Yeah, we have Sam saying, "I won't lie for
their story straight."
Yeah, we have Sam saying, "I won't lie for you," and then he does.
All right, you know, I have heard people moving out and about out there, so I'm going to join my family on Christmas. I'm going to basically shut this down for the time being. Next time I come back, I will probably finish this segment, get it up to uh, minute number 41, and I'm going to do what I always said I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the soundboard here. I'm going to save the file. So next time I definitely will take it all the way to uh, minute 41. I've done about 6 minutes over the last half an hour, but I've been doing a lot of talking back and forth and had to restart this thing. So that is what I plan to do next time. In hopefully another half an hour to take it through the news, another half an hour so maybe an hour and a half of editing left before I get to the audio editing. Once again, I am SP from Better Podcasting, part of the GonnaGeek.com podcast network. If you happen to have a question, please ask it down below in the YouTube comments. And if you do, leave a time code of the reference so that I can see what you're talking about and be able to answer your question a little bit more appropriately. You can always reach out to me on Twitter at Stargate Pioneer. My email address, in case you have a more extensive question, there have been some, is stargatepioneer@GonnaGeek.com. Or you can always hit me up really quick on the Gonna Geek Discord server, which you can find at GonnaGeek.com/Discord. That will take you to an automatic invite, and you just click in, you'll get into Discord. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the comment, R. Davis Jr. 87. Really appreciate you reaching out this morning. I didn't think anybody was going to be watching live, so that was great. And if you like videos like this and you happen to be watching on the YouTube channel, hit the like button and subscribe down below. And if you hit that little bell for the notification, you'll be aware of when I have posted the next video. This will be out later today. And I don't know if I'll get another editing session in today or not. It just depends on what's going on with the family. We are going to see Aquaman tonight, so I might not get to this again until tomorrow, but I do plan on getting to it tomorrow night and getting this episode out by this next weekend. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.